I immediately started singing Nookie by Limp Bizkit as soon as I turned this on. I did it all for the Nookie. What do you mean? What does that mean? Like somebody did something all for sex? I don't know. I can't tell you what Fred Durst is trying to tell me right now. But I can say I need to turn this. Hot. It just goes from like cold to hot here so fast. Cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. Maybe Freddy Krueger will show up in your dreaming when your ass leaving. Okay, Fred Durst is really in my head right now, so maybe it actually has nothing to do with the song, more or less Fred Durst. Are you Fred Durst? Do you know Fred Durst? He is hilarious. And let me say, I would choose humor over a lot of things. His songs are actually hilarious. Even if I don't like them, they're still funny. And I'm like, I appreciate that, you know? Like, humor is everything. Humor is the spice to life, I swear. Okay. I'm going to say, something definitely has shifted. Oh, yeah, big time. So ascending. I was just going to say, my sister and I just got home from work. And our neighbors next door, so these guys have lived here for like 11 years, I think he said. And they're old, they're a little bit older, like they're like mid 50s, late 50s. They've lived here for 11 years. And one of the guys that lives there is so abusive and so angry, and he screams at 3-4 in the morning. They're so like they're oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure I smell. Somebody once told me that crack, like if you smoke crack, it smells like urine. The smoke smells like urine, and I think I was watching that on The Shield. Anyways, I could swear I smelled piss, like straight piss coming through, where like we share heating between my apartment and theirs. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they were in there smoking fucking crack. Like, so they got evicted today. They have 48 hours to leave the premises. And it was, the notice was from Homeless Society. And I had a feeling that they were, you know, special. Like, there was a reason why that they weren't working, you know. And, I knew that somebody was paying their rent for them, and yeah, so huge cycles, and like no wonder ascending. It's like I feel like one of the guys doesn't deserve it, and it kind of hurt me to be like, oh fuck that guy, like he has to leave, like where is he gonna go? And then it was like, you know, sometimes things have to end, so then you can find a new chapter. So I feel like they're getting evicted because the one guy has to ascend the other guy now. You know, like it just comes to a time where you can't be around somebody, and it's like environmental and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm sure they've had their fair amount of complaints, but it's not the building that's kicking them out. It's this other foundation that they're with or something that obviously pays their rent or does something. Ooh, okay, so we got coffee cup and then cassette in reverse. Okay, so Pisces, I feel like you are going into a new phase. And it's like with coffee cup, it's like it's about kind of savoring the moment, right? And really stopping and smelling the roses, enjoying your time. Because the thing is we're not here forever, right? And as much as we like to think that death isn't going to come because we're young or, healthy, but accidents happen and death comes and the reapers come when it's your time, right? When your soul decides it's time. It has nothing to do with your physical body, right? So I feel like somebody might be, whoa, okay, we got a big stack. I don't know what it's going to say. Okay, ready? We'll both do it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, defensive. Okay, so somebody definitely ascending being defensive. And the thing is I think the reason why so many of us become defensive is because we are defenseless, right? And when you grow up in a defenseless world, you become defensive. It's kind of the way that it works because there's nobody else that's sticking their neck out for you. So you have to constantly stand prepared for anything. Right? And I think now you're ascending that. I think now you're getting over that. And that's the thing was if you've gone through something traumatic, then it's always like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're always waiting for something. And at the same time, you're trying to get over those obstacles so it doesn't look like you're waiting, so it doesn't feel like you're waiting. And then boom, something comes in again and you're like, right? Because the healing's not done. So it has to keep like opening the wound and scratching the wound. So then you'll see how you deal with it second time around, third time around, fourth time around to really see if you've mastered whatever it is that you're trying to get over, right? There's the High Priestess. So I think you know this. I think you're attaching more to your intuition, using your intuition more and noticing that an obstacle is just an obstacle that in your eyes. I mean, obstacles are here everywhere. There's no path that's paved that comes obstacle-less free, right? There's always something that happens. It's whether or not you see that obstacle as being something that's going to stop you, or is it going to be something that makes you determined, right? So it's like stepping into your High Priestess and learning the dark and the light, working with both, working with the universe, with the creatures around you, growing something, growing within, right? And having the knowledge always within. And just because you don't spread it, just because you don't say it, it doesn't mean that you're not secretly, intuitively growing every day, right? And that's why it's like, I think you can finally kind of realize where you have to defend and realize where you can self-sustain, right? So 8 of Wands in reverse. So I feel like something has maybe not been moving. Something might not have been going somewhere. And here it comes. So that's this savoring the moment feeling. I feel like that has to do with this cup. Ooh, okay, the wheel. The wheel is turning. Okay, that's karma closing in. What's the last card? Ooh, Hangman. You're going to want to be hanging into this. So I feel like also there could be that like almost like fight or flight in you, right? It's like when somebody comes along or when a situation comes along and you're being treated really well and everything's going really well and then you sabotage it, right? And you don't savor the moment because it's fight or flight. It's do or die. It's never let's savor the moment. It's how are we going to get out of here? Are we going to get out of here alive? Right? How am I even going to get home? And if I get home, is it going to be a safe ride? Am I even going to get there? Am I going to survive my own dreams? Right? It's like constant. It's like something has to break and a new phase. So I see new phase here, ascending new phase, and then both with the wheel and with the cup, I kind of feel like the wheel is bringing in that cup. Right? What is this cup? Ace of Cups. Ooh, okay. Abundance with not today. So there's obviously something coming in here. This new phase is coming in. It's a positive mindset. Okay. It's exactly what you want to come in. It's what you consider to be blissful. Okay. And that's why you're going to be hanging in. You're not going to want to leave this, right? Once this comes, there's no more fight or flight. You're going to want to stick around for this. And that's why it's leave outdated thinking behind, right? It's a new change of mind where you felt you needed to fight or flight all the time. It's now you realize how much it is to really stick it out somewhere or stick it out with somebody, right? It's never going to be blissful all the time. That's not the way that human life is. But as long as you're happy, as long as you've updated your thinking, then you can't outdate anything. Everything has an expiry date, right? It's just whether or not you kind of keep it alive. It's conditioned thinking, right? It's always replaying that the same thing is going to happen because the same thing could have been happening. You could have been set on this loop for a very long time. So what do you do when you're stuck in a loop? You're going to constantly feel like nothing's going to come in for you, like it's never going to happen. It's always feeling like it's not going to happen today. 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 Well, yeah, it's not going to happen until it's ready to happen, right? Until you kind of take your mind off of it, and then poof, in comes the abundance. In comes in exactly what you've manifested. Because when you're manifesting something, it's almost as if you can't see it. You have to wait for that seed to create, right? You have to wait for the manifestation to come into 3D, to create itself, to build itself up, to have the energy that it needs to fulfill its destiny, basically, right? So it's like something is, the world is kind of saying, like, you might want to stop and smell the roses on this one. And actually, I'm getting this town, I forget what it's called. It was this, oh my gosh, the cutest little town outside of Mount Shasta. And it's this little town. It's like almost like you have to go into a valley, because it's basically a valley. There's I want to say foothills. I don't think they're mountains right there. Like, I know Mount Shasta is the mountain, but I think it's all like rolling hills around the actual mountain itself. So there's this little town. You get on the highway and there's this little town like 10-15 minutes down the road. And I spent one day in that town. I went to some sweet little cafe, and there was a man and a guitar singing, obviously, fucking NXS. It was amazing. And it was this really awesome, cute, green, alive town. Like, it couldn't be, that town couldn't be more alive if it tried. And at the time when we were there, it was the beginning of April. So it was just becoming the beginning of spring, and it was the greenest place I've ever been. It was absolutely incredible. And now I'm getting that moment, and like, that's about the abundance, right? The green, the life that comes into you all of a sudden. You go from being blah and dull to color, right? And everything is blissful. Everything is exactly the way that you would want it to be, something that you've imagined it's going to be. And that's why you can't have that type of fulfillment in your life if you are constantly doing this, right? But you're only going to battle people, and you're only going to be kind of like objective and protective and what was that word I used? Defensive, right? You'll know when to properly use it, and to know that you don't have to defend yourself all the time. That's not the way that this is supposed to be. And if you have been, it means that you've been somehow abused into believing that you had to defend yourself because there were constant attacks. So now it's like the attacks have stopped. If you feel like you're ascending the attacks, then it's most likely you are ascending the attacks, right? And you know this, and you know that the attacks have been the reason why the energy hasn't moved. So now, why the energy hasn't moved, now it's like you get to jump over it, right? It's like, I almost see like a volcano, right? And it's flowing, and you're standing on the edge, and somebody keeps saying that they're going to build you a bridge so then you can cross. No one's building the bridge. No one's helping you get to the other side. So then, poof, you just blow up a bunch of balloons, and then you go, okay, well, if no one's going to help me, I'm just going to go over myself. And stop waiting for everybody, right? And then once you stop waiting for everybody, then that's when people start to come in, right? And then that's where it's like the moments start to come in, because now the world kind of sees like, oh, okay, well, you just clearly took care of yourself when nobody else was going to. Everybody kept saying they were going to do something, but they never did anything. And that's the thing, is like, you could have had a lot of people in your life that constantly said, well, I would have helped if you asked. Well, I said I was going to help and you didn't want it. That kind of stuff, that's putting something onto you, onto a victim, because they didn't step up and do something. They just kept saying they were going to do something, but they never actually did anything. And that's how people can get away with a lot. By saying it, then that's like the whole I love you game, right? Like, people, they're obsessed with saying it, but why can't you show it? Because if you truly felt it, you wouldn't have to say it, right? And it's been abused, and those 3 words have been publicized, abused, mocked, and gone toe to toe with over, do you love me or do you not? It's bullshit, because it's not even love is not even a feeling, it's an action. It's an ability. It's love is not it's not a word. It's not a descriptive word. It's an ability. It's a feeling on what somebody can feel towards another person. And that goes by action. It's not even it's like love should be just self-explanatory when you're with people who constantly show it. They never have to say it because it's always right there. Right? So now it's like almost allowing that to come into your life and getting rid of the outdated thinking and allowing love to come in. And I actually did see that somewhere, and it was like the end of the battle, or somebody had gone to the end of the battle, and they were like, if there isn't love involved in my future, I'm not doing it. Because everything is built off of hate. Everything is built off of you have to. It's an installment. It's like a brainwash. You have to, and it just gets so abused. Right? It gets so abused. You have to, that like suddenly somebody just goes like, I got to get over this. You know, those people that say I love you, into turning your life into something that now you don't want to leave. Getting rid of the conditioning that I love you is something that's supposed to be said and screamed at you, when really love is actually very silent. It's a silent killer. If you're really ready for it, it's as quiet as they get, because that's the sanctity of it. Everybody else just abuses it. Well, not everybody else. I mean, I don't know how many people actually abuse it, but I know that anybody that I've ever been around, if they hurt me and I say something about it, they go, well, I love you. I was doing what was best for you. I don't really know how that makes sense. How is hurting me the best thing for me? Right? Like, but when they start crying, and then you're like, oh, okay, you must feel something because you're crying. Anybody can cry. Anybody can just pull that fucking stream down anytime they want. It's called being a drama queen. It's how they win. I actually cried today. You know what I cried about today? It was a quick tear. But these 2 little boys saw that this house was on fire, and it was their neighbor's house. They called their neighbor right away. Their neighbor wasn't in town, and all 3 dogs were stuck inside, and the little boy got the passcode from the homeowner and ran in and freed all the dogs. That's what made me shed a tear today. Because that's real news. That was real news. That's real life. That's somebody, he was like 13 years old. He was a hero. That's a hero. When you risk your life for something more vulnerable than you, that is a hero. So, anyways, I don't know where this reading kind of took a turn to with heroism, but now I'm getting Dwight's version from The Office, what his version of a hero is. And he was like, well, he's born out of tragedy, has some type of superpower. And the guy's like, that's not a hero, that's a superhero. And he goes, I don't know the difference. Oh, I love The Office. Anyways, okay, Pisces. Oof. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. You might be getting engaged, like mad quick. That could be this. See, it's always good to wait till the very end of the reading. You never know if I pull another card. This could be, you actually could be meeting somebody that's going to change a lot of how you were raised. It's going to really change a lot, and that's where your intuition's going to come in, because it's going to be like, see, I knew it. I knew that there was something. Never settle for less, because when you settle for less, you allow yourself to believe that you're worth less than what you are. If you're not bored, why settle? Only really people who are bored and desperate settle, right? We've all had those days. So anyways, you might even be getting married or having some type of commitments coming in. And I think that's what it is. And like, no matter what, it's a commitment that you stick with. So if it's a job, you stick with it, right? It's something that you love. It's something kind of that you know is coming in. Something that I also feel like you will defend, because it's higher than what you're usually used to. And if you're going to defend anything, I should hope, if it's not only you, it's something higher than you, right? Like light wise. It doesn't matter how old they are, where they are, something higher than you, right? Something that's bigger than you, makes you want to be a better person, makes you want to see things better and not just abuse things because they're around you or because they're easy, because you had it rough before and now you just want it easy. Easy, I found, you know what people want to say when they say easy? They're actually saying lazy. Because anything that's easy to somebody, it's only easy to them because they've been doing it for a long time, or it's easy to them because they've done it already in some type of life and they've picked it up really quick. Easy, I believe, is the cheap man's word for lazy. They want to say that things are easy because they want laziness. I want an easy life. No, man, you want lazy. Because nobody that's got an easy life would say it's easy in their eyes. It's something that it's a skill that they've acquired. So it's not as complicated as what it was when they started. Right? Nothing is easy. Breathing. Breathing is not even easy to people. Seeing is not even easy to people. So why do you want your life easy? What does easy mean to you? And if easy means workable, then say workable or functional. Operational, not easy. Easy is bullshit, and you know it. Nothing is easy. Except it's pretty easy, friggin' grow a mustache for a guy. It's easy to grow my leg hair. That's not, do you want that kind of easy? Right. Anyways, I hope this helps. Peace.